something, listen, we're going to jump right into it. If you start this, you are going to be carrying it into your calls. And I'm talking before and after your sales, after they pay you and before they pay you. Okay, let's talk about this thing, convincing. My clients double their conversions when they stop convincing. All right, I'm already getting DMs. If you can't watch this whole message, DM me audit, because I would love to offer you a 5-minute money making messaging audit. And I would love to answer any questions that you have about money in the message, my inner circle program, where I am helping you stop wasting your time, your energy convincing. So let's talk about convincing really quick. You are in a space where you're having to convince people to work with you, okay? And when clients come in working with me, they don't even know that they're doing it, right? So you're high value expert women, right? You shouldn't be convincing anybody to work with you. I believe that for you. That's not just my clients. I believe that for you, sis. I believe that's why you clicked on this video. That's why you were directed to this video. This video was directed into your feed, okay? And what's happening is you're over educating, you're over convincing, right? And here's the thing. If you do that in your content, and if you're doing that in your messaging up front, you are going to continue to do it in the sales call, and it will not stop there. You will be doing it in your client calls. You will be doing it in your client experiences. Now it's hurting your testimonials. Now it's hurting your client results. Now it's hurting and harming your energy and your flow. So a lot of the burnout that I see when clients first start with me, a lot of the questioning, because I don't understand why we as powerhouses tend to be the ones who start to question. You, out of all people on this planet, with the type of work that you do, with the goodness that you pour out into the world, the impact that you do and that you deliver, that you've already been doing in every piece of content that you already create, every time you show up, every time you're visible, every time you speak on a stage, every time you're interviewed for a summit or a podcast, every time you work with somebody in your programs, right? Like, you are creating such impact. And every single time you bring in someone who's misaligned into your world, you hurt the client experience for them. You hurt the client experience for the next client. You hurt the client experience for yourself. And now you start to operate slower. Now you start to procrastinate. Now you start to question parts of you when you really, I got the wrong person in here. And so I see it happen time and time again with my clients. And so, yes, I hear all the time, but my message is already converting. I understand that. And I love that. I love that I get to specialize in working with women who already have messaging that converts. This is not about us replacing the message. This is about us tightening up your message so that you bring in individuals who are ready to commit, who don't need convincing. Because any convincing that you're doing in your content and in your messaging up front, when you bring in lukewarm leads, that is what's elongating your sales process. That is what's causing you to burn out. That is what's causing you to feel that frustration. So if we look at, okay, yeah, I got, let's say 10 calls booked this week. And let's say, are you signing half of them? Are 5 out of the 10 moving forward to work with you? Okay, so great, 50% conversion. Now, the other ones, were they lukewarm? Well, one we need to talk about were the 5 completely all the way aligned clients. Because sometimes when we talk about convincing, you're not only just convincing them and proving to them and trying to like validate your rates and all this type of stuff. You don't even know that you're doing it. Like, my clients have told me so many times, Kira, I didn't even know that that energy was wrapped up in my messaging. I didn't even realize it was that deep. I didn't even realize that. I just know that I was drained after calls. I just know that, listen, I had a first class seat in the follow-up, zone. Okay, I was in the follow-up zone, and I had a front row seat, a first class ticket, and we're following back and forth, okay, because that person's going back and forth with themselves, right? And this is where I'm always talking about, there's levels, right, in the messaging, But one of the levels that I love to focus on within the first two phases, right, is always what's the messaging that's also going into your assets and your automations. So this is not just the messaging that's going into your activities and into your actions that you're taking now in real time. This is also a part of making sure that the messaging is scalable, that it's sustainable for where you're wanting to go. And you holding on to outdated versions of your message because you're speaking to an outdated version of your client who you no longer work with, but don't realize that you are still talking to them, and or you're talking about parts of your work right now in a way that your audience, they've heard and it hasn't moved them. It's moved who it's going to move. So if your email list right now has 3,000 people on it, if your email list right now has, I don't care, 300 people on it, right? And how long have those people been there? You did ads from when? What year? You did a summit, you did some things from what year? You know, so we got to talk about like how long have those people been on that list? Like you keep emailing them, or how long have they been in that Facebook group, right? You know, I have a client of mine who came in working with me and she was like, here, I have this Facebook group. I'm putting so much into it and I'm ready to shut it down because I don't feel like people are moving in. I've had clients who have thousands of followers on Instagram, right? Up to 30,000 followers on Instagram and feeling like Kira, but they're not moving forward because I'm not focused on your messaging that makes you look popular. I'm not focused on your messaging so that you like have amazing, like, oh, it sounds great. I'm focusing on the messaging that helps you sell your method, your program. I'm focusing on helping you amplify your authority angle. What are we positioning? So we're not convincing. We're commanding the value for what it is that you already do. And that's not us redoing the messages. That's not us replacing the message, right? There's some realignment sometimes that needs to happen, absolutely, with messaging. But it's really about us being in a space where we're actually refining what you already have to make it work better for you. That's what we're doing inside of Money in the Message. And that's why my clients can say they have 2x conversions all the way up to 5x, even 15x conversions I've seen my clients have. And you are joining in this space, and this is what's happening within 4 months. Now, that doesn't mean that it starts. I have secret challenges. When you first come in, if you're coming in right now, which you need to DM me, if you're coming in, you are going to be kicking off your very own 14-day sales messaging sprint. This is not about us starting from scratch. One, if you haven't heard, if you haven't seen, if you haven't felt my energy, Money in the Message is not messaging basic 101. That's first and foremost, okay? Oh, I see the comments. I'm going to be answering the comments in 1 second. Thank y'all so much. Make sure that you share this with your biz bestie, a mastermind sister, accountability buddy who you know needs to hear it. But one thing I just want to say, you being in this space where you are feeling like, okay, yes, the message has converted, right? For you to scale, you're wanting to get into a space where you're amplifying certain parts of your systems, your processes, your pathways, your funnels, your automations, your workflow processes, right, as well. For that to happen, you should not be taking your current messaging and putting it into those places. One, the moment you drop it into any of those places, your conversions do cut in half. I know that people sit and say, no, but I'm going to be getting more traffic. You're going to be getting more eyeballs. But isn't it smarter for you to understand how to actually get more people to say yes? So let's get more yeses. And as we get more eyes, now we got a double effect happening for our conversions. When you start to try to automate things, and I remember this, I know this. Years ago, I remember one of my first attempts, not first, but like one of the earlier attempts of me wanting to go and automate certain things. I had an event that had a 40% conversion rate. Completely unheard of. Even my coaches were like, Kiara, you should go back and check your math. Make sure you don't mean 4% conversion rate. Make sure you mean 40%, or do you mean 14? Do you mean 24? Are you sure 40% for an event? Like, are you sure? Yes, I'm 100% sure. We went and redid the math. Now, I remember being like, oh, I'm just going to go automate it all right now. I want to save myself time. I want to be able to do whatever it is that I want to do in the middle of the day. I remember automating it. Oh my goodness. Do you know my conversion dropped to 4%? Now that 4% came in, okay. It dropped to 4%. Now, that was still better than industry average, right? Industry average being 1 to 3%. Amazing, grateful. But I was like, no. Like, that's not what I'm used to, okay? Because there were certain things that were happening live that weren't happening in the automated version, in the funnel, in the, parts that didn't have necessarily the human touch. And I got really, really obsessed with how do we make sure as we are scaling, we don't lose that human interaction, that essence, that vibe, even if it's not me in real time doing it. Like right now, at the time of this recording, I'm live, okay? But even if it's not necessarily live, right? So when you're seeing me on YouTube and you see this next week, when you see this next month, when you see this next year, but you still gonna feel my essence, you still gonna feel my vibe. Just because I'm not here live in this moment as you watch the replay of it doesn't, for those that are, gonna be watching the replay, and I'm talking to those that are live, there's still an energy, right, that you get to feel. And so how do we make sure that energy isn't just in your live stuff as you are launching, right? Or any type of enrollment events that you do, or live streaming, or, any live calls or interactions and consultations and things like that, DMing that you're doing with your clients, right? Or prospective clients as well. But also, how do we make sure that is inside of your funnels and your assets, right? That's us getting really intimate with your client. That's you mastering what really do I need to be talking about that my premium clients most value now, not later. So when you're inside of Money in the Message, and I'm explaining to you right now, we're not doing basic 101 messaging. I'm not going through your client's basic problems. I'm not going through your client's basic, oh, I really want this thing, okay? I'm not going through my features of my program is this and this and this. And I'm not even going through the basic, hey, the benefit of working with me is this. I'm not working on that with you, okay? We're going beyond that. We're going into the deeper parts of your premium clients' mindset, the psychographics, the things that they truly care about. What's going to get them to move now? Because y'all got people in y'all email lists and y'all Facebook groups that are, in your following, in your feeds, right? You got new people that are going to come to you who are getting ready to go sit down, have a bowl of popcorn, a glass of wine, Olivia Pope, Scandal style. Okay, y'all miss Olivia Pope? Y'all miss Scandal? I do. Anyway, so they're going to sit there and they about to chill out. They about to hang out just like those other people did. But if you want to start moving your people through quicker, if you want your people to start making decisions quicker, and not just quicker because they are being manipulated, not just quicker because, we're not empowering them, to make an empowered decision, right? No, it's the opposite. We're providing them exactly what it is that they need to know with full integrity and deep intention and purpose, right? Instead of cluttering the message. This all goes back to convincing, right? You continuing to convince your people around why they should go and do this thing versus one thing that I love inside of Money in the Message that we get to do is we get to talk to, like I said, what your client most values, but also we get to bring in some of that anti-client messaging as well. One of my clients who literally has just signed 3 clients back to back, and speaking of having sustainable, right, messaging, she actually has a video series that signed the very last client who was completely paid in full. And one of the things that I love that we get to do inside of Money in the Message is make sure, thank y'all for the hearts, is make sure that you are in a space where the way that you talk about your work is a completely different vibe. Like, I can't tell you the number of clients who have come to me and said, Kiara, my people are telling me I am in their journal. I am like watching them. Like, I am the fly on the wall. How do I know these things, right? That can't happen when you are in a space with surface level messaging. And it definitely can't happen when you have like multiple different ideal clients, okay? But you being able to trust and hone in deeper on who truly is the most premium client and the most aligned client for me and for my work in this season of where I am meant to be playing, of where I am meant to be going, it is going to help you. Like, literally, you are going to thank yourself. Because if you are truly in a season of scaling, that does mean more eyeballs, more ears on your stuff. It absolutely does. But the biggest mistake that women make in that process is trying to go too wide. There's more people that are in my stuff, right? And so let me go wider and let me talk about more things. Instead, in Money in the Message, let me talk deeper about the very thing that I'm amazing and incredible and exceptional at. Let me build my entire amplified authority angles on that. Let me master marketing my signature method on that. Let me master talking to the client who's going to be not only willing, but is ready and able right now, not next week, not next month, not next year, to come all into that. And there's a way that you want to be communicating with them. There's a way that you want to be speaking to them. And up until now, what you have had has gotten you here. If you are wanting to 2 to 3x it plus, it is time for us to elevate it. There's some things we are going to declutter, and it's going to be okay. You know why? Because you are going to take the biggest breath of fresh air. Like, oh my goodness, it's going to feel like literally you just decluttered your kitchen, your closet, that drawer, that drunk drawer that you've been wanting to declutter. You're going to be able to do it. So now when you're putting out your content, now when you're creating content, now when we also can work on, because if you are in Money in the Message and you are one of our premium and our platinum members, you're going to have levels of support that actually can extend over into your team as well. Okay. For your content planning and production processes, etc., and even some done for you elements. Okay. So definitely for our premium members, this is one of my favorite things, because this is really about you allowing the message to work for you. I truly believe that your message, it should be a 24 sales agent. This really, I know that I always call it, it's a messaging program, but for real, it's a sales program. That's why we say sales messaging. That's why I am all about sales messaging. I am not a message. Don't just put me in a category with the messaging people who only care about the words. I care about the words that bring in the clients, that bring in the transactions, that bring in the conversions. This is client conversion communication strategies, sales, messaging, and positioning strategies for experienced women. So if that is you, I would love to invite you. The link is moneyinthemessage.com. Like I said, this is not about us tapping into new messaging. This is about us tapping into better messaging that is, not erasing what is already working, but truly focusing on being able to multiply. And make sure that you DM me the word audit, okay? I would love to take a couple of minutes with you and to go through what is your current messaging. And let's look at your current sales strategies and your audience, right? And let's talk through some of the elements that I've mentioned here in this video that resonate with you. And then some other things that are coming up, okay? Because I see one thing and I see 10 other things, okay? Let's get it together. You are ready to refine and repurpose so that you can rise into this next level, to dominate your lane. It's time for you to go deeper. Your marketing is craving a deeper message. Your content is craving a deeper message. Hell, your audience is craving a deeper message. The way that you've been talking about the work that you do up until now has gotten you here. And now there is an elevated way that we want to now communicate and convey the value of the work that you do for it to match the price points. My clients tend to 2 to 4x their prices. So some double them, some, triple them, some quadruple them, and then some keep their prices the same, right? And then we just create new offers as well. I am unattached to that. What I am attached to is the messaging that is connected, okay? So listen, don't hurt the messenger, but I am trying to be your personal sales messaging, content, strategist. Like, I'm trying to work with you on that, okay? Because you are spending so much time and so much energy with clients who you're convincing in your content, even if you don't know it, in your messaging, even if you don't know it, and you don't even realize you're doing it in sales calls. And what you're doing there, you're going to keep doing in your client calls. And it's going to hurt the client experience for that client, right? For the other clients, if this is a group space, and even if it's not a group space, the energy that it takes from you, that it drains from you, that you then have to go sit on your therapist's couch and talk about a little longer, or their chair if they don't have a couch, right? Or you need to go talk to your girlfriend or your biz bestie and y'all need to spend 30 minutes, all that energy that it just sucked up out of you, or you need to go complain to your team. all of that energy, and then it also took you away from creating the content that you wanted to. Oh, did you want to go film some reels? Oh, did you want to go do some voiceovers? Oh, did you have a YouTube video or a podcast episode? Oh, did you have a summit who you have a talk for? Oh, did you want to pitch yourself to this and that? Oh, did you have some follow-ups, some sales calls? All of that. There's an energy that is being trapped, right, when you are in that space of convincing. So DM me the word audit so that we can start to go through this yourself. Let me make sure I go through some of the questions. And then if you have questions, don't hesitate to drop them in. Even if you are on the replay, I will be coming back and I will make sure that I answer all the questions from any of the live streams. So let me see. Yes, thank you so much for joining. Let me see. Let us... Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm glad that you were able to join the live as well. And yes, what we're sharing here is so important. Anti-client messaging juicy. Yes, it is. Oh, that's what I was saying. I was saying that one of my clients, so Dr. Laquita, she loves anti-messaging. Like when she first joined, that was one of the things that she hooked on. And the concept behind that is a lot of times, and y'all know, y'all have experienced this, right? You have clients that you have worked with where you're like, I would not necessarily work with you again. So we actually have a process where we want to sit down with you. We want to go through what that messaging is so that we can utilize that in messaging that will actually then go sell to the people that you want to. And then we also have like a clone your client exercise that we do. And then we also have our testimonials to transactions. So those are three of my favorites that we get to do when we dive into, again, building out your premium client profile. So this is you diving deeper into, there are things that you haven't even realized that you have now gotten to know about your ideal client that you didn't before. So there are things that you've gotten to know about your ideal client today that you didn't know a year ago, today that you didn't go 2 years ago, etc. Right? And so too often you are in the midst of delivering, right? You're delivering the marketing and you're delivering the actual service of what you do. And you're the talent. You're on the video, you're in the podcast, you're being interviewed. You're doing so many things. And so one, having a team behind you to help you see this. That is also why we wanted to make sure that we added back in more of a done for you element. And so, if I have my fractional clients, my fractional consulting clients who get some done for you implementation support already. And so I wanted to have a mini version of that we allow to be available for our Money in the Message members, because that is extremely important and a part of you, scaling from a team standpoint. So anyway, whenever I am working with clients, it's really, really important that, we are going into that. And a lot of people forget that, right? That you have to also be thinking about, what have I learned about my client today that I didn't necessarily know before? But when you're the talent and you're also the brain and you're the ideas and you're all the things, right? You're moving and you're going and you don't have time sometimes to sit and to assess this. And so we love going through those anti-client assessments so that we can really help. Usually you're like, oh my God, I hate this client, I don't ever want to work with them again, and you move on. Which, by the way, definitely check out. We have a video on the YouTube channel. We'll make sure that we drop a link to a video that we have that talks about like client quality, that talks about, some of the anti-client, messaging elements. But definitely, if you want the fullness of this, then I would recommend for you to join Money in the Message so we can, dive in for you, right? Because some of y'all, I already know, you ain't got time to go and just watch all the free stuff. You just want us to go ahead and do it. So let me just do it with you. So when you join Money in the Message, you will see that there are levels where I'm doing it with you as your coach, right? I'm by your side. I'm supporting you and guiding you through it. There's also levels where you can get done for you support. So you know what? Give it to me and let me go do it. Either way, we got to get it done so that we can get more of the right clients converted at 2 times what you are doing right now. So if you want to at least double plus what you're doing right now, your conversion rates, then you want to join us inside of Money in the Message, because your messaging could be working way harder for you, sis. I'm just trying to save you, trying to help you. All right. So message me audit if you have questions, or if you're like, you know what, can we take a quick peek together at what I have? And then you can get a vibe for how it is in Money in the Message. And then we can answer any additional questions that you have about the program and get you in. We are currently enrolling. And when you join right now, you will be actually starting to activate, getting ready to activate. We're going to be activating your 14-day sales messaging sprint. It is amazing. We've had clients who have made back their investment in 24 hours and 48 hours and 72 hours and like 3-4 days and 7 days. in 2 weeks, obviously in the 14 days, and then some within 3 weeks, you know, or really those that go beyond 3 weeks have actually like 3x or 10x their investment even, you know. So that timeline is not mine, it's yours. So that's just their results. Okay, what really matters though is us getting into your messaging, is us getting into how you're currently positioning your core offer. So in the next 14 days, we can literally dive in to tap into the top transformational impacts that you offer in your offer, that you deliver in your offer, right? That your clients get to experience. The top things that you need to know about your client that you have not been talking about at all. Literally, when I tell you, I have clients who've been in business for 2 years, for 12 years, for 20 years. And they tell me, Kira, I've never said that. I've never said it like that. You know, I have felt that, but I didn't know how to explain that. Whatever it is, we always are able to extract out a couple of elements that they've never talked about in their marketing, in their messaging, or anything upfront in their assets, in their activities, in their actions, right? And so these are things that in your sales sprint, we are going to be able to dive into. So this can be a cash injection for you. This can be utilized for a next launch for you, for your upcoming sales calls that you have the next 2 weeks, right? So this is your 14-day sales messaging sprint. Plus, there's so much more. That's just a little bit, but there's so much more that we would be doing inside of that time. You also will be having access directly to me. So if you thought Money in the Message was a place where you would just come into a group coaching program and you were just going to get trainings and then like have a call with me where you ask me one question because everybody else on the call has to go and you never get your stuff answered, and not just answer like, oh yeah, that looks great, awesome. But I actually mean a specific tailored to you answer. Plus, every time that you come to our calls, right, we have clients who like they have pitches and sales deals and things like that that are more time sensitive. You need responses now, right? You don't have time to wait until the next group call. You don't even have time to wait necessarily until maybe the next one-on-one call. We need some support now, and if your team needs support too, right? So we have those levels where you have that access. So all of those things that are built into Money in the Message are for a reason, right? There are sometimes like timely stuff that are going on, and your messaging is a part of that, right? So this, like, that's why I'm always saying, like, this is not just messaging as in what I say. This is sales, right? This is your sales communication. This is your sales positioning. You need to be showing up and selling every day. And if it's not you physically doing it every day, your messaging is doing it every day. Whether you run ads or not, your messaging is the ad. Forget what dollars, if it's paid advertising or organic, your messaging is the ad. Your messaging is working when you're not. So if you are not, you know, bringing these elements into your messaging, if they're not primed, right? If they're not intentionally being built in every part, right? Because there's layers of your messaging. There's your messaging in your live streams. There's your messaging inside of your evergreen. There's your messaging inside of your automations and your assets. There's your messaging when you're pitching and you're on a sales call, when you're in a one-on-one versus a one-to-many. There's different elements, and me being able to be your sales messaging strategist and literally help you in positioning it depending on where these areas are, plus the general parts of it that will work in all of these areas, is gold. This is how you start to scale smarter. And all of those systems that you're working on, you bring this into. But for you to go and do those things first and just bring the messaging that you currently have with messaging that's not even, it's not converting at, you know, where it really could, the true potential of it, makes no sense. So then you leave yourself in this cycle where now you're still convincing people. So you have some aligned people coming in. Great, awesome. Then you have some lukewarm leads coming in, right? But you could have more of the clients that you actually want coming in at even faster rates if you went all in and focused on them. If you didn't have parts of your messaging that were cluttered, right? That were still kind of calling in the lukewarm, right? If you had it all tailored to exactly who you want to be calling in. Inside of Money in the Message, we get to know them deeper. You get to speak to them deeper. You get to market to them deeper. You get to sell to them deeper. You get to connect with them deeper, right? And you also get to be able to elevate and embody that next level message deeper for yourself, okay? This is your next level. And your next level is now, and it's safe. So moneyinthemessage.com or DM me audit, and we can answer all your questions. We can do a little quick audit so you can get a feel for some of the things that we will work on inside of your sprint. And then we can get your 14-day sales messaging sprint all started for your cash injection and beyond. All right, make sure you share this video with a biz bestie, a mastermind sister, an accountability buddy who you know needs to hear it. I appreciate all those who were able to join live. If you have other questions, don't hesitate to drop them in. If you are DMing me, I will be responding to DMs shortly. And let me just move this out the way. Sorry, my finger's in the thing. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Oh my goodness. Yay. Okay. Bye, loves. Bye. Thanks for joining. Talk to you soon. Bye.